Morning time. Good morning. Good morning, Leanne. All right. Got 2 minutes until we'll get started. Hopefully everyone had a good weekend. We watched Hamilton a couple of times, which I thought was awesome. That was fun. Let's see. Oh, Amy just texted me. So Amy, you can just double click on my video, and it will pin that as your main video if it's trying to think other people are the speaker. Hopefully that helps. Let me know. You can text me. Let me know if it works. Okay, good. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. So the book I've been reading lately is called Manifesto for a Moral Revolution by Jacqueline Novogratz. And she is a pretty remarkable woman. She, in the late 80s, she was in her 20s. She was pretty successful in school and she worked on Wall Street. And pretty quickly was really successful in making a lot of money for her company and wanted to have just more meaning in her life. And there was 1 or 2 other banks that had started that were doing microfinance, giving tiny loans to the poorest of the poor to help them be able to create their own businesses and bring themselves out of poverty. And she was really inspired by that. So she quit her job on Wall Street and decided that she was going to start a microfinance bank. And she chose Rwanda. She went to Rwanda to start a bank. And this was before the genocide and before all of the upheaval in Rwanda. And she found a few strong women partners in Rwanda to help her start this bank and navigate all of the red tape and everything with the Rwandan government. And one of her best allies and friends was one of the first women that was part of the Rwandan parliament. And one of the first laws that that woman passed was to eliminate bride price, so that in Rwanda it was no longer legal to, pay cattle for a wife. And that was too much too fast for that culture, and she ended up being killed. That woman ended up being killed. But Jacqueline Novogratz, she just persisted, and she kept a hold of that bank in Rwanda, but then and kind of revitalized everything after all of the turmoil there. And she also now runs a company called Acumen that helps fund businesses that help the poorest of the poor. But I just want to read it. And so this book is just full of amazing stories and, using markets and capital to actually help people. It's pretty powerful, all the stories that she tells. But I just want to read a little bit from a chapter called Tell Stories That Matter. She says, the job of the moral leader, which is the job of all of us, is to learn to tell the stories that matter, stories that unite and inspire, reinforcing our individual and collective potential, and paint a picture of the future that we can build and inhabit together. Stories that matter are not stories that demean, deride, divide, ridicule, belittle, blame, or shame. We must take the harder path of telling stories that hold our truths, both the ugly and the beautiful, while remaining laser focused on the possible. Stories matter, for they have consequences. The stories we choose to tell often define who we become. Indeed, recent advances in science are proving that the narratives we tell about ourselves and others influence even our health and longevity. Show me a happy person, and I will show you someone who owns her own narrative, who shares most happenings in positive ways and tragic events as turning points rather than endpoints. And then she goes on to tell a story of a woman in Kenya who was a successful banker and was actually making a lot of money and living really comfortably. And she was arrested and put in jail for fraud, which she hadn't committed. And she was in jail for quite a while. But eventually her name was cleared, she was released, and it was years. It wasn't just like a couple of weeks or months. But she took that experience to work on changing the criminal justice system and having compassion for all of the women in prison, and started a business to take time to go into the prisons and work with the women. She took that tragic thing that had happened to her and made it a turning point in her life instead of something that would drag her down into bitterness. And she goes on to say, I'll be quick. But the point she's making is that the way we frame things matters, right? And it's the thoughts. It all starts with what's happening in our minds, because our stories, right, are repetitive, and they're the things that we tell ourselves over and over again. She says, the ability to tell stories that matter starts with the story of self, the story of ourselves. They must be truthful and vulnerable and grounded in self-awareness if we hope to engender trust and enable self-discovery in those around us. When we see ourselves, the full gamut of what we are capable of, the good and the bad, the light and the dark, when we're completely honest, when we let go of shame and blame and belittling, especially in our own internal narrative, then we can hold up a mirror to others to show them what they are capable of, what their potential is. And this month, as we're focusing on our thought and emotion body that's really manifested in the world around us, in our body, in our relationships. There's so many things beyond our control. We can't control our circumstances, but we certainly can choose how we respond, right? And the more aware we are of that link between the story in our mind, the way that we're feeling, and how that motivates the action, we take, the more agency we have to direct that and create what it is that we want to create. So I just invite you to settle in with that as we start our day today. Find a comfortable way to sit so that you can let your spine be tall and just start to bring some awareness to your breath. And start to be aware of the story you want to create in this day. Let's just take one more focused inhale and exhale here. And just leave your eyes closed or gently open. We'll lean back and just prop ourselves up on our hands, and you can bring your legs in front of you, just a little bit wider than your hips, and we'll just windshield wiper our legs. Just kind of warm up your hips here from side to side. If you're sitting on something and it makes it tricky to do this, you can move off of it. A meditation cushion or a block would probably be a little too high. And you can start to make these bigger twists by taking your arm and reaching as you go from side to side. And then let's pause, twist it over to our left. I'm going to move my blanket out of the way. So now I'm facing toward my left leg. I've got 90 degrees in both of my knees. And I'm sitting up tall. If you need to prop yourself and lean, that's totally fine. I just want you to find some isometric holds of pushing both of your knees down. So you're going to be externally rotating this left leg and internally rotating your right leg. So you sit up as tall as you can, flex through your ankles, and you can even think of like energetically lifting up that back ankle, energetically lifting up this front ankle. You don't need to lift them, but you're pushing your knees down. And then kind of let go of that effort. And then just go back to your windshield wiper back and forth a couple of times. And then we'll end up on the other side, just facing to your right. So 90 degrees in both knees. Prop yourself up with your hands as much as you need to. And then energetically pushing both knees into the floor. Stay active so you can flex both of your feet. Just kind of turning on your hips. And you can think of lifting your feet up without moving them anywhere. It's just that external rotation of your right hip, internal of your left. And then release that. Just windshield wiper it out a couple more times. And then we'll come to standing at the top of our mat. So we're going to go through a flow today, and there'll be quite a bit of repetition, but we'll add on each time through. So we'll go slow, and then we'll connect it with our breath as we add more things to it. So just come to standing at the top of your mat. We'll do Brahman Dandasana, just a simple flow to warm up before we get into the bulk of our movement. So take your feet just a little wider than hip distance apart and inhale to reach your arms high. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center and just sit back in a squat in a chair. And then inhale, reach high again, bring your arms out to a T and fold forward to a flat back. So really send your sitting bones back, kind of push your inner groin back. Inhale, reach your arms forward alongside your ear, biceps by your ears. And then exhale, soften your knees to bring your hands to the floor. So soften your knees as much as you need to get your hands to the floor. Stay bent in that right knee and then open a twist to your left. Just reach your left arm up. Bring that left arm leg towards straight. And then exhale, fold. Plant that left hand. Inhale, peel open to the right. And exhale, fold. We'll just roll ourselves up to standing. So see if you can do it one vertebrae at a time. Just your pelvis comes upright and then slowly roll up. Reach high. We'll just go through that again. Exhale, sit down in a chair, hands to heart. Inhale, reach high. Arms out to a T. Exhale, halfway down, flat back. Inhale, arms alongside your ears. Exhale, soften your knees, touch the floor. Inhale, open twist to the left. Exhale, down. Inhale, open twist to the right. Exhale, down. Inhale, roll yourself up to standing, reach high. And this time, let's find some side bends. So grab a hold of your left forearm with your right hand, lengthen. And exhale, side bend over to your right. Really push through that left heel, lengthen through your left fingertips. And then come up through center, just switch sides. Right forearm with your left hand. Exhale, over to your left. Push into that right heel, lengthen. Come up through center. Let's go through that one more time. Exhale, sit in your chair. Inhale up. Exhale, arms to a T, halfway forward. Inhale, reach your arms forward. Exhale, soften your knees, hands to the floor. Inhale, open. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. From here, let's move into a low lunge. So plant your hands down inside that right foot and step your left foot back. And then bring your left knee down. Stay planted in that left hand and just inhale, reach your right arm up. And then exhale to thread those right fingertips past your left ribs. And just move with your breath there. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Let's inhale to open. And then just exhale that right hand down. You can angle your right toes out just a little bit and just find some movement in your hips here. You can do little circles or just swivel back and forth. And then we'll make our way to table and downward facing dog. Spread your fingers, tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back. You can pedal through your legs. Just kind of start to greet your calves, your Achilles tendons. And then look up at your hands. We'll step our left foot outside our left hand. So you can bring your knees down first or step forward first, whichever works for you. Right knee down. And we'll do that same thing that we just did on the other side. So inhale, left arm up. And exhale, reach. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale to open. And then just exhale that left hand down inside your left foot. You can angle your toes out a little bit if that brings more freedom to your hip, and just find a little bit of movement here in your hips. Maybe circles, maybe just swiveling side to side. And then step back into a table. And find any movements here. If you want to do a few rounds of cat and cow, if that would feel good, or circles, whatever sounds good. We'll meet in downward facing dog when you're ready. Just find whatever movement you want. And then we'll walk our hands back to our legs. Just find a standing forward fold here. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. And then inhale yourself up to standing. You can reach high. Exhale your hands to your heart. And then just step your right foot and cross it over your left. And we'll just do a cross-legged forward fold. Inhale and reach high. And then exhale, fold forward over your crossed legs. You can bend through that back knee as much as you need to if it gets to be too intense. Maybe hands come to your thighs, to a couch or a chair, a block. And just breathe through the back of that left leg. And then make your way back up with an inhale, and we'll just switch the cross of our legs. Left leg in front. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, fold forward. And soften through the back of your right knee. You don't need to lock it out, even if your leg's straight. Find a little sense of softness there in the back of that right knee. Take a really long, slow exhale. And take one more round of breath there. It's a long, slow exhale. Inhale yourself back up to standing. Reach your arms high, hands to heart. And then just take your right hand and bring it to your lower back. And your left hand, reach your elbow high and then bring your hand behind your head. And then from there, okay, soften your low ribs in and just find space between your hands and your back. So just kind of bring that right hand off your lower back, left hand off the back of your head. From here, just straighten both of your arms. Reach your left arm up, right arm down. And then we're going to swim, bring your arms out to the side, internally rotate that left hand, and you're just going to switch positions. Back hand to your left hand to your lower back, right hand to the back of your head. And then push them back, get some space between your head and your back and your hand. And then reach long, and then out, and back to where you started. Okay, don't touch your back this time, and just go through those two directions. One more time. And then release your arms. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Find an open heart. Soften through your knees and let yourself just bow here. Opening through your shoulders. And then release. Just roll yourself up to standing. Now we'll start our flow. Bring your weight onto your right foot. Okay. And you're just going to hover your left leg up off the floor. And then we'll do that a couple times. Just lift and lower. So you're not swinging this out. You're going to lift it up. And then next time your foot comes up, just kind of swing it forward and back. And then do some circles. And try not to lean too much, right? You're really containing through this right outer hip. Switch the direction of those circles. Okay, and now keep your left foot hovering. We're just gonna find some good mornings. So we're gonna, it's kind of like a halfway fold, but keeping that left leg hovering. So just come halfway down, bring your hands by your hips. And then inhale up to standing. You can reach high. And say hello to the back of your right leg. Fold and come on up. Let's try that one more time. So you're just coming halfway down. You're hovering that left leg up off the floor. You're really engaged through that right leg. And then we'll lift our left leg up into a warrior 3. And just enjoy your breath here. Bend into your right knee and then step your left leg back. Bring your hands down into a lunge and then bring your left knee down. Reach your arms high. And we're going to find that same shoulder work we just did. So left hand behind your head, right hand behind your lower back. And then find space. Push those back and try to keep your lower ribs contained. Reach out. And then the other way. Reach up and out. And then the other way. Reach up and out. And then reach both arms high. Bring your hands to frame that front foot and straighten that right leg. And we're just gonna pause here. You can come in and out of it a few times if you want. I'm just gonna swivel my hips from side to side a little bit. Just stretch through the back of that right hamstring. And take one more round of breath there, just stretching through that right hamstring. And then bend into your right knee, tuck your left toes, lift that back knee, and just step forward. Come to your standing forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale all the way to standing, reach high. Exhale, hands to your heart. And we're going to do that hip work on the other side. So just lift and lower that right foot to hover a few times, really engaging through that left outer hip. And then come to your hover and just swing forward and back. And you can find your circles. Switch directions. Okay, and keep that foot hovering. So your right foot stays hovering. Reach your arms high. And then exhale, come forward just halfway, but your right foot stays hovering, so you're still balancing on this left leg. Inhale and reach high. Exhale, come forward halfway. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, pause here. And we'll move into our warrior 3. You can just keep your hands where they are. If you need to brace yourself on that left leg, you can clasp your hands on your left thigh. Stay open through your heart. And just pause. And then soften into that left knee. We're going to step back with that right foot and find your low lunge. Bring your hands to the floor. You can bring that right knee down. And inhale, reach high. This time, right hand behind your head, left hand behind your lower back. Find some space, reach high. Swim your arms out. And then switch. Just really working through that range of motion in your shoulders. Then reach both arms high. Hands to the floor. Straighten through that left leg. Any amount, okay? And you can always have a block or a chair or something to bring the floor closer, or you can just fold to here. Listen to your hamstring and what feels available. You can play with straightening and flexing your foot. I'm going to kind of swivel my hips from side to side. Just kind of flosses through all the different strings of hamstrings. And then pause, lengthen your heart forward, let yourself just fold. And we'll bend into that left knee, lift your back knee, step forward, look forward. Exhale to fold. Inhale all the way to standing, reach high. Exhale, hands to your heart. Okay, we'll add on to that. We won't spend quite as much time in our hip list or our warrior 3, and we'll add a little bit on. So just bring your weight into that right foot, float that left leg up, reach your arms high, and then exhale, find your halfway fold. Inhale. And exhale, find that halfway fold. Pause there. Inhale, reach that left leg back. And now, left hand to your lower back, right hand to the back of your head. And see if you can find that shoulder work here. So lift your hands off your head and your back, reach, arms straight. Swim them around the other way. And then soften into that right knee. Step back to your low lunge. Reach your arms high. And then exhale. Fold over that right straight leg. Inhale, reach high. And then exhale, hands frame that front foot. Lift your back knee. We're going to float back into a 3-legged dog. So you're going to lift your hips and lift your right leg straight back. And just pause here. Draw those low ribs in. Reach up through your hips. And enjoy your breath. One more. Really reach up through that right leg. And bring your right leg down. Take a breath in. And exhale. Inhale onto your tippy toes, look forward. Exhale, find a bend in your knees. You can step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale all the way to standing, reach high. And exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach high and float your right leg up off the floor. And then exhale, come halfway down. So your right foot's just floating. And you're strong through that left outer hip. Inhale up. Exhale, halfway forward. Draw your shoulder blades together. And then reach that right leg back. Right hand to your lower back. Left hand is to the back of your head. Find space there. Reach your arms out. Swim them around. Pause. Bend into that left knee, step back. Right knee down, reach your arms high. And then fold over that straight left leg. Inhale, bend your knee, reach high. Exhale, hands to the floor. And we'll make our way to that 3-legged dog on the other side. You can always skip dog if you need to. You can come to hands and knees. And just lift your left leg on your hands and knees. So drop through that right heel and try to keep your hips square. So don't rock your left hip open. Try to keep your hips square with each other. Really reach. through that left leg. And then float your left leg down. Just pause here. And then inhale to plank, and we'll go through our vinyasa. So you're lower, whatever works for you. Child's pose, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Even if you do chaturanga, come all the way to your belly, untuck your toes, float your hands to engage your lower back and between your shoulder blades. Plant your hands. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale onto your tippy toes, look forward. Exhale, bend your knees, step or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale all the way to standing, reach high. Exhale, hands to your heart. Weight into that right leg. Float your left. Reach your arms high. Exhale, halfway forward, hands by your hips. Inhale. Exhale. And then reach. Right hand to your lower back, left hand behind your head. And then float. Reach out, circle. And then soften into that right knee, step back. Reach high into your low lunge. And exhale. Straighten and bow over that right leg. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, table with your right leg lifted or downward facing dog. And with your exhale, we're gonna move into plank and draw your right knee toward your left tricep. And then inhale, lengthen back out. Exhale, rock forward to your plank, draw your right knee in toward your chest. And then lengthen back out. Exhale, knee towards your right armpit. And inhale, reach. One more time. Exhale, knee towards your left armpit and hold. And then just bring your knee to the floor between your hands. Rock your weight to your right hip. We're going to swing our left leg around and set up for Janu Shirshasana. So we get to take a little bit of a break here. So make sure your pelvis is upright. Bend your knee as much as you need to make that happen. Lengthen through your spine, reach your arms high, and then lead with your heart to fold over your left leg, any amount, right? We're working on the integrity of our spine, bending at our pelvis and not the lower back, okay? You could even grab a strap if you want to. Let's just enjoy being here. Let's take one more deep inhale and exhale. Inhale yourself up. Now bend through this left knee and just plant your foot on the floor. You can use your hands as much as you want to. We're just coming up to standing. So you can rock onto this right shin and then push into that left heel to come all the way up. Okay, and now we've got the other side. Float your right foot up. Reach high. Exhale, hinge at your hips, come halfway forward. Inhale. Exhale. And then reach your right leg back. Right arm behind your head, left hand behind your lower back. Float them away. Reach long, swim out. Switch your hands. Bend through that left knee, come back into your low lunge. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, fold over that left leg. Inhale, back to your lunge. Exhale, hands down. Inhale to your three-legged dog. You can always do this from plank. Okay. And then we're gonna exhale, rock into a plank, or if you're on your hands and knees, just bring that left knee towards your right tricep. And then inhale, lengthen back out. And then exhale, knee to nose, or the center of your chest. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, rock forward, knee to left tricep. And then back up. Exhale, knee to right tricep. And just hold. Really draw in through your lower belly. And then set that right knee down. Shift your weight onto that right bum. Swing your left. Your left leg's bent and grounded. Swing that right leg around. Inhale to reach high. And exhale, fold. And we'll just stay here for a few breaths. And really reconnect with your breath wherever you are. And think about breathing 360 degrees around your rib cage. And just notice the story you tell about your practice as you move through it. Notice what happens and what your mind wants to do when you come against challenge or when you have a chance to pause. Right, and what will that story create? What does it create in your emotional body? And how can you reframe that in a positive, truthful way? Right, where challenges are turning points. Inhale yourself up, bend through that right knee, plant through your right foot. We're coming to standing. And just come all the way up. Okay, we're gonna add on. Float your left foot up, reach high. Exhale, bend halfway. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend halfway. And then float that left leg back into your warrior three. Left hand behind your head, right hand at your lower back. Float them away. Straighten your arms, swim them around. Switch. Bend into that right knee, step back. Ground your left knee, reach high. Exhale, straighten through that right leg. Maybe you just keep your hands by your hips. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, hands down. Inhale to reach that right leg up and back, either table or downward facing dog. Exhale, right knee to left tricep. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, knee to right tricep. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, knee to left. And then bring that shin down. Shift your weight to your right hip, swing your left leg around. Find your Janushirshasana. We're just holding it briefly this time. Exhale to fold. Inhale yourself up. And then bring your hands down. We're going to find 90-90 legs here. So I'm swinging my left leg around. My right shin's in front. You can use your hands to brace you as much as you need to, or keep your hands at your heart. We're going to work on First lifting that left ankle. So you're gonna have to lean forward about 45 degrees, whether your hands are on the floor or up. And then maybe lift your whole leg. So you're gonna reach it straight and then bring it around toward your chest. Let's do that a couple of times. Lengthen through that leg, maybe reach it back and bring it in. Reach it back and bring it in. And then step that foot in front of your right ankle. We're gonna come up to standing and see if you can just come to your balance. Standing on that left foot, right foot hovers, reach high. Exhale, halfway forward. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, halfway forward. Inhale to float that right leg back. Right hand behind your head, left hand at your lower back. Inhale, straighten both arms. Swim out, rotate at your shoulder joint. Soften into that left knee, step back. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, straighten that left leg and bow. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, you're gonna lift your left leg back. So either here in table or in plank. Exhale, knee to right tricep. Rock forward into your plank if you're not in table. Inhale, reach that leg back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, reach up and back. Exhale, knee to left tricep. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, knee to right tricep. And then plant that leg down. Sit down on that left bum. Swing your right leg around. Inhale to reach high. Exhale, fold over that right leg. Inhale yourself back up. And then find your 90-90. So I'm taking my right leg out to the right, left one forward. And then lean yourself forward so you can just lift maybe that right foot up off the floor. And you can try maybe lifting that whole leg up and straightening through that right leg. And then bring it in towards your chest. And then bring it out, straighten. And then bring it in. Let's do that one more time. Bring it out. Bring it in. And then step into that right foot. You're just gonna cross it in front of your left. And then rock. Come to standing on that right foot. Maybe you can straighten into your balance with that left foot hovering. Inhale to reach high. Exhale, fold halfway. We only have one more thing we're gonna add on, but you are probably familiar now with what we're doing. Exhale, halfway. Inhale to your warrior three. Use as much balance or support as you need to. Left hand behind your head, right hand behind your back. And then find those mindful, smooth movements of your shoulder. Bend both knees. Find your low lunge. Reach high. Exhale, straighten that right leg and bow. Inhale to reach high. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, three-legged dog or table. And then exhale, right knee to left tricep. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, right knee towards your nose. Inhale. Exhale, right knee towards your right tricep. Inhale. Exhale. Let's just bring it to center this time. And then ground that right shin, rock over. Bring your left leg around. Inhale to reach high. Exhale to fold. Inhale. And then we're going to find our 90-90. You can have your hands supporting you, hands at your heart. And then we're just going to lift, straighten that leg, bring it into your chest. And that's it. Straighten it. And this time bring it around. Plant into that foot. You can rock forward to your standing. Maybe balance, maybe use your hands. This time we're going to bring our right knee into our chest. And then sit into a figure 4. So flex through that right foot. You could bring your chest closer to your shin if you want. You could even touch the floor. And then we'll come all the way to standing and just hover that right foot. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, find your halfway fold, hands by your hips. Really sitting, pushing your sitting bones back. Inhale up. Exhale, halfway down. And then inhale to reach that right leg back. Right hand behind your head, left hand at your lower back. Float those hands up, straighten through your arms. Reach out and around. And then bend through that left knee. Step back to your low lunge. Reach high. Exhale, straighten and bow. Inhale. And exhale, hands down. Inhale, table or plank. The long left leg lifted. Exhale, knee to right tricep. Inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale. Exhale, knee to left tricep. Inhale. And then just bring your knee toward center. Plant your shin down. Shift your weight onto that left hip. Swing your right leg around. Inhale and reach high. Exhale to fold. Inhale. Exhale. Find that 90-90. So right leg out to the side. Use your hands as much as you need to. Lift your right ankle. And then that whole right leg, maybe stretch it long. And then swing it around. Just do that one more time. Stretch it long. Swing it around. Plant that left foot in front of your right foot in front of your left shin. Rock forward onto that left shin. Push into your right heel. Come to standing. You can bring your left knee into your chest. Cross your ankle. Sit back in your figure 4. Breathe there. And then release. Come all the way to standing. Step your feet as wide as your mat. And just kind of settle. Find some circles through your hips. Just let yourself collect your breath. And find a neutral place with your pelvis. Interlace your fingers with the unusual thumb on top. Draw your shoulder blades together. Open through your heart here. And then you can soften your knees. Just let yourself fold. Just enjoy the aliveness in your body. Really lengthen your exhales. And shake your head no. Nod your head yes. Release your hands. And step back to hands and knees or step back to a plank. We're going to come onto our bellies. And we'll find a sphinx pose. So elbows underneath your shoulders. And even maybe even having your elbows a little forward of your shoulders. You can kind of shake your bum. Just work on releasing through our hip flexors. So push your pubic bone down. Feel like you're dragging your elbows back as you reach your heart forward. And then just lift your left leg up off the floor. It's not going to lift super high because it's really exaggerating the back bend here. But think about you're kind of lengthening through that left front side body. So really engage through your glute and your hamstring there. And then lengthen out through that leg. And then release. And we'll just switch sides. Just lift your right leg up. Feel like you're dragging your hands back. And then release. Kind of rock your bum from side to side. Slide your hands underneath your shoulders. And push yourself up through table. Let your knees go wide and your toes come together and push yourself back into a child's pose. Hips toward your heels. And breathe big into your belly. And we'll make our way to our back. So just walk your hands towards your knees. Just shift your hips to one side. Swing your legs out in front of you. And just scoot yourself to the center of your mat. Hold on to the backs of your thighs and just roll yourself down. Go right into happy baby down here. So just grab onto the outer edges of your feet. Let your knees go wide. And find your happy baby pose. And rock from side to side. And we'll think about opening through your left psoas, the left hip flexor, as you find a little more opening through your right hip. So release your left leg and bring your left foot to the floor. And just keep your right leg in happy baby. And then you can lengthen your left leg on the floor. Just think of opening through the front of that left hip and relaxing. And then bend into that left knee. Cross your right ankle over that left knee. Open your arms out to a T. And we're just going to drop this arrangement of our legs over to the left. And energetically, really feel like you're pushing your right knee towards your left ankle. And then take your right arm up overhead. So alongside your ear. And then unwind that and cross your legs. Make your way back to your happy baby on both sides again. You might notice a difference from one side to the other. But release your your right foot to the floor and just keep that left leg in your happy baby here. And you can lengthen your right leg. Think about lengthening through the front of that right hip flexor. And then bend through that right knee. You can cross your left ankle over your right, arms out to a T, and then just drop this arrangement of your legs over to the right. And energetically feel like you're pushing your left knee towards your right ankle. And reach your left arm up alongside your ear. And then come back to center. Hug your knees into your chest. You can do one more round of happy baby. Any final poses that you feel like you need here. And make your way to your relaxation. You can find all the props that you need. It might feel good to have a rolled blanket or some pillows underneath your knees. That always can feel supportive for your lower back. You could have something under your head. Really just find a way to arrange yourself in a completely supported way. All right, and this is your chance to really integrate what it is that you experience through this practice. We always need some challenge. And we can just gradually let that build. But we have to take some time to be still, to process, to integrate, and also teach our nervous system that we can go through all the cycles of experience. We can go through effort and intensity. We can feel stress and let our bodies react to that stress. And then we can bring it down. Take a big breath in through your nose and let your exhale come through your mouth and let it last as long as possible. Just let your exhale be super slow and long. And do that same thing a couple more times, just fully inhaling through your nose and then the longest, slowest exhale you can through your mouth. And then let go of the effort of breathing. Just let your breath breathe itself. The stories that we tell create the narrative of our lives. They bring meaning to our days. And I've been thinking about that as we've been going through the 4th of July. Pioneer Day will be coming up this month. And these are holidays of stories. And the stories are important. And the more open and honest and real they are, without hyperbole, but just true, the more transformative that they can be. We're full of light and dark, and that really came home to me as we watched Hamilton this weekend. We're capable of amazing things and horrible things, all of us. And we just don't need to bury any of it under the rug. And we can only transform things that we acknowledge. And then we bring those to the Savior. Just to read one more short quote from this book. We might inherit stories, but it is up to us to craft the narrative of our lives. The stories of our lives, our parents, our ancestors, can be full of light and transformation. Right, but this life is full of all of it. The suffering and the joy. And we just need to say yes to it. Feel free to stay here and just relax as long as you'd like. If you're ready, you can find an easy bend in your knees. Just roll to one side, push yourself up to a comfortable seat. Bring your hands to your heart. Find a sense of inner gratitude, an inner smile as you start your day. The divine light in me honors the divine light in you. Namaste. Thank you, friends. Have a wonderful Monday.